Can't put my film on it though. The Incredibles, maybe? There's no cannons anywhere, is there?
And when at
System
last
power.
he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Big screen. Can I get one? Do I press it off? What? I did it, guys. I turned off the game. Whoa, what?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Is it over?
Yes.
Is it?
He had won. He had
Yay!
defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone
stopped
else's
Judgment Day.
command. Freedom
Fuck
was
you,
mere
Skynet.
moments
Fuck
away.
you.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
Like a bird.
For it was not knowledge
A
or
tree.
even power that he had been
House.
seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Are you about to get in there?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin,
What's
the
this
feeling of liberation,
The outside
the
world.
immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I'm happy as well. Is that it? Yay, I beat the game! Lone screen! That's our award for beating the game. Alright guys. I'm not sure if this is actually it. This game might be playing with us still. We'll see after the lone screen. Oh, no.
When Stanley
doing
came
now?
to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going to the right this time.
This was not the correct way to the meeting
I
room,
understand
and
that.
Stanley knew it perfectly well.
But let's go to
Perhaps
the
he wanted to
first door.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I do.
Wow.
It's a beautiful
Yes,
lounge.
this room.
It's a
What
terrible
a
coffee
beautiful
machine.
room. But eager to get back to business,
Yeah.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I will. What's that shit?
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Do I go down? 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 Look, there's paint there. Do I go down? Yeah. I'm gonna get your head. No, let's not do that.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yeah, I agree. It's a boring room. Let's go downstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm not going upstairs. No. Oh, I can cut.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
I can.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
Whoa,
Maybe,
a minute.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
I am.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Wait.
None of it made any
I'm
logical
making-
sense.
This doesn't make
And
any
as
logical
Stanley
sense.
pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors
they're
close
breaking the
automatically
game.
behind him wherever he went? And for that matter,
What?
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah, I'm getting
were they
deja vu
simply
here.
repeating?
Yeah, they're
No,
repeating.
Stanley said to himself,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is all too strange. This can't be real.
Yeah, this is...
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
You're
I'm
stuck.
dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
What's up with
What a
you?
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself,
you
I
think-
suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he
how is this
imagined
enjoyable?
himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Shall I explain Stanley?
Then
Whoa!
he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Whoa, what?
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled
getting trippy.
that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Oh, this is
And while he
brilliant.
thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the
That's
truth
it.
was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
It has
Was
to be.
Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing
Maybe
that
that
if
coffee.
he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Try this.
After
No,
all,
fuck it.
he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
I will.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Okay.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the
This
mattress on
escalated
his
quickly.
back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
We just went to that world.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I'm scared. What? I'm gonna go.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is
Screaming
Stanley.
internally.
I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh. What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
My name's what? Did I just for sex change?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled
Stanley!
through town talking and screaming to himself, and then
Stanley!
collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Stanley!
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this,
This
and
game's
in a certain
mind-blowing.
way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
She didn't. She is staring still. What the hell just happened, guys? Is this what drugs are? Oh, look at the back. Hey.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yes, they
What
are.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe might have missed a memo.
When Stanley came to a
Let's go
set
left.
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I did.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to... Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay. Door Simulator 2013 Glam Edition.